about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skill by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullet is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Gonzalo running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bodenberg and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello to our esteemed viewers out there. You're welcome once again to Sports Orbit. My name is Afa Acho. Salifu Usman is right here in the studio with me. Salifu, welcome to Sports Orbit once again.
Thank you, Alpha. Thank you for the opportunity once again. It's a pleasure.
All right, on today's episode of Sports Orbit, as usual, we have a bumper package for you. Of course, the NBBF is in the news. The African Table Tennis Championship, where Aaron Aquadri is set to partake in, is also in the news. We have some transfer news, some EPL news, and of course, some other stories in today's edition of Sports Orbit. But first, we'll begin with the NBBF, where the Nigerian Basketball Federation, that's the NBBF, is scheduled to meet in Abuja, that's tomorrow, to actually deliberate on the Tigers and other programs as it concerns basketball. President of the NBBF, Musa Kida, told journalists in Abidjan at the end of the 4th window of FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers that the board will deliberate on the performance of the Tigers as well as other issues concerning the programs of the board. He said the meeting of the board is crucial because we are behind in a lot of things that we ought to have set in motion before now. Speaking on the performance of the Tigers, Kida thanked the players for representing the country. He said the NBBF is grateful to the players for coming to represent the country. We understand the challenges that they have faced and know that qualifying for the World Cup is looking difficult, but we'll look into it and work out something for the last window of the qualifiers in February 2023. Also slated for discussion is a detailed program of events to be ratified by the board, some of which are the calendar for the Premier Basketball League, the Zenith Bank-sponsored Women's League, National Division 1 and 2 leagues, among others. In that discussion, the Tigers finished 4th in the window on a 2-1 deficit, having lost to Cote d'Ivoire 60-52 and Angola 70-67 to remain 4th position of Group E with 10 points. Group E with 10 points behind already qualified with Cote d'Ivoire 14 points, Angola 12 points, Cape Verde 11 points, Guinea and Uganda are on 8 points apiece. If I can recall, I think it was last week on the show when we talked about the NBBF and we had alluded to the fact that since this so-called Musa Kida board was recognized by whoever it was that wanted to recognize them, haven't been able to properly sit and outline their programs like they said they will, especially with the dissolution of the interim management board. But now they are saying we are going to meet tomorrow. And in his statement, he actually admitted that they are they are behind in a lot of things.
Well, I wish Kidas and his board well. It's better late than never. And it is good that he admitted that they are far behind, and there's no need to re-emphasize it. The board is far behind, and the basketball as a whole is far behind it.
Yeah.
And we can see the result is beginning to show. Even though the Tigers and the Tigers that he always pride himself that yes, they are doing well, you cannot see that the center can no longer hold
At all.
and the soul of the body, when one part of the body is being affected, they will affect the other part of the body, and that's what we need to see. And you can't genuinely develop a basketball where you don't have a league. And let's hope,
Exactly.
let's wait what they are going to discuss tomorrow, and let's see the outcome of whatever they're going to do. So I want to reserve my comment and whatever I wanted to say about this killer board until I see their programs and anything, whatever they're going to roll out after their meeting tomorrow.
I mean, like you said it clearly. Good to not preempt them. It's good to see what they are going to roll out. But particularly of interest, they said they are going to discuss the issue of the Tigers. These are people who are struggling to qualify, and it's very looking like they might not even make it. And no thanks to the crisis in basketball after the female team labored hard, the exactly Ministry of Sport, because cup, and all of a sudden, meanwhile, just going to the competition, and I don't think it was a well thought out.
More you just and it will one common goal and personal, maybe certain personal to honor them. But here there's still be that but this ticket just onto the main reason like we discussed it.
Of course, yeah,
We have
yeah.
a personnel in the country, and that will personnel, play personnel. The Tigers were how we are going to please us to the you oh, like I said, let's wait to bring everybody on the table. we are eligible to high hopes.
Where Senior Table Tennis Championship serves up in Algeria later. Algeria as the host. Out from the tournament. And Sarah Afu will take the women's category by storm. Algeria will be the venue from the 3rd of September, that's next week, that's 3rd to 9, 2022, at the La Coupole City Olympic in Algeria. So for Arnold Quadri, once again, another time for him to redeem himself. But for Quadri, when it comes to tournaments like this, you see that he will go and surprisingly he might emerge as the champion. You know, when it comes to this kind of tournaments, I have no doubt about his performance. But when it matters most, we've said this over and over again, Quadri seems to not have found the winning formula.
But remember, this one is still also going to represent Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I agree, but
I'm not wishing him back, but wishing that maybe we need to redeem, just like he redeemed his image this time, because anytime he put on Nigeria flag behind him, we don't get what we want. But when he represents his club level player, well, do the country well. Either we like
that far that form about the MPFL where the LMC, that's the league management company, has resolved, to resolve some issues concerning players and clubs as it revolve around contract issues. A rash of unilateral and illegal terminations of players' contracts by MPFL clubs has drawn the eye of the LMC, in which, in a circular last week, resolved to all outstanding cases brought to his attention. The circular to clubs was signed by CEO Davidson Oumi, who warned that unilaterally and illegally terminating players' contracts without compensation constitutes a violation of the provisions of the rules governing the MPFL and football in general. It drew the attention of the clubs to Article 16 and 17 of the FIFA regulation on the statutes and transfer of players, which places restriction on the unilateral termination of players' contracts during the course of the season, and also provides for consequential effect of terminating such contracts without just cause. He said it is also tried that where a player's contract is wrongly terminated, the player becomes a free agent and the player is entitled to compensation in the form of outstanding sum that will have been earned under the contract if he had not been wrongfully terminated. That's according to Article 17, Section 1 of the FIFA, the circular observed. Further noted that Rule B 945 of the framework and rules of the MPFL mandate clubs to comply with their financial obligations toward players, employers, and other clubs as per the terms stipulated in the contract signed, adding that where a club is found to have delayed a due payment for more than the statutorily stipulated period without a prima facie contractual basis to do so constitutes a breach for both the signed contract and the extant rules of the game. I saw this story earlier on. It was like, looked like the LMC are suddenly wanting to wake up from their slumber. And some will still say LMC is still a dog that can bite without a bite. Because we've seen severally in the course of the season where LMC will come out, especially the incident with Hadland where they came out severally with all kind of threats. They were going to do this, do that, do that if Hadland doesn't pay up. Still, Hadland came out, give their excuses, and The season ended. Thankfully, they are still relegated and nothing has been done. Now they are coming again to say we are going to wade into this matter.
Alpha. You know, LMC, well, as the name implies, the funny thing is that they say there's a power that they say he who come to equity must come with what? A clean hand. Like me, if you're like I'm sitting here, if I have something in my eyeball, if it's just in my eyeball and there's another dirty in your own eyeball, I have to first and foremost remove the dirty in my own eyeball before I can see clearly to help you to remove your own dirty eyeball. So the LMC to set themselves free first. LMC is owing a lot of people. LMC is owing their own staff. You have not paying your own staff. Mass indemnity, the free you send on assignment to go and mass indemnity, you are owing them. The match commissioner, you send it to go and commission a match, you are owing them. So first and foremost, play yourself, play first before you can even get into another person. So the person, if you are coming to a person with a very dirty hand, you can't tell another person to wash his hand when your own hand is dirty. So LMC will set himself free first. Cleared all their indemnity they are owing the match officials, owing the match commissioner, owing everybody first before they can even look into the club. Yes, the issue there is very genuine, very genuine, and that is the reason why we have players moving from Nigeria to go and play in Kuwait, go and play in Cyprus, go and play in Somalia, go and play in a country where you cannot even dream of going there. Because things are not working here. Things is only on the contrast side of what is sustainable in the developed world. We can't share with Diko, I repeat again, share with Diko to bury himself in shame. He has been in the shadow of the Nigeria domestic league, been in the shadow for almost close to a decade. At least any reasonable person, no matter how dull you are, 5 years, 6 years is enough for you to make a reasonable change.
Exactly.
But yet, we are playing a league today without its function. We are playing a league today where the players, the clubs, I don't even know what they are earning. And we are playing a club today, the referee are on the road, and that is why the result of that is why oftentimes you can never imagine, you can never say the champion of Nigeria League are the total champion of Nigeria Football League because the club are the club because the referee who are LMC is sent to one of your feet. The club takes care of their bills. The club take care of their bills because the LMC are not be able to lift up their standards. So if the club take care of their bills, be expect the referee. So LMC still with Dicos and the Davis who he just called me. But at first I appealed to my yes, what the issue there is about the club, terminating player contract arbitrary is uncalled for, not playing players for it's uncalled. He's not able to hear. But they should first and foremost clear the dirty in their own eyes board first before looking into the club matter.
Exactly. Anyway, we'll go on a quick break and then we'll come back. Sport Orbit continues. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Okay, because we have to eat.
All right, welcome back from that break. You're still on to Sports Orbit. To some Serie A news where former Juventus midfielder that's Angelo Di Livio believes Napoli has a big chance of winning the Serie A title with Super Eagles striker Osimhen leading the attack instead of Cristiano Ronaldo. There have been unending reports that Ronaldo wants to cut short his stay at United barely a year after he joined because the club failed to qualify for the Champions League. According to some reports from Italy, if Ronaldo moves to Napoli, Osimhen could also leave for United in a deal believed to be around 120 to 130 million euros. However, the former Italy international also advised Napoli against signing Cristiano Ronaldo amid this week's speculation. He told Radio 2, he said Napoli have great chances of winning the Scudetto. They had an excellent transfer campaign. I will think about selling Osimhen next year. I will keep him in Naples and say no to Ronaldo because he has the chance to get to the title. Of course, the rumors have refused to go all through yesterday up till today of a swap, but from what we are hearing today was that maybe he might be sent on loan without Osimhen making that swap deal. So still confusing, but I mean, transfer is just about 48 hours to go, and his agent is fighting tooth and nail to ensure that he gets into a club which is already in the Champions League. So my question is, if he goes to that club, and that club happens to exit in the first round to the Europa Cup, what does now happen?
You now come back. You now look for the club that progress to the second, that progress to the round of 16. Well, or maybe he has to feel like being sure. He has to feel his dream of playing the Champions League for the 2022-2023 season. But I agree with the better players, because if you look at the Ronaldo, know that about he's a clean footballer. He's a citizen. He's one of the stars. He's a star to celebrate anywhere, any day, and he's a player. Any coach, any day, would love to have his team. But looking at his antecedent in the last two clubs he has played. Up to today, Juventus fans are still crying foul that the coming of Ronaldo to the club affect the club. And how he leave the club is another story. Everybody can see he didn't leave the club on the genuine issues on say this deal that both the club and him who were not happy about how they part away. Now he went to the mine, where everybody thought that is where he was dropped, and he has some. Everybody believes that he has some eligibilities or due to the club who made him and who he had to be. But unfortunately, you came to the Man U. Man U is one of the best big clubs in Europe, and it can happen to anybody.
Of course,
the fact that
Barcelona couldn't make it to the group stages and they had to drop to the Europa League. So are you saying if Juventus could never qualify? So are you saying, for instance, if Messi was at Barcelona, he would now say because they've gone to Europa League, he's leaving the club?
No. Okay, now you have won Champions League 5 consecutive times. You have 5 trophies. Champions 4 with Real Madrid, 1 with the Manchester United, 5. So in terms of even individuals award, we have also won several individuals awards in the Champions League. What else do you want to win? In the Europa League, I don't want to perform anything in the Europa League. Man U has the opportunity to play in the Europa League. Why not remain with Man U? Commit your commitment to the Man U. You're even part of the team that led Man U.
That's what I wanted to say.
You led Man U to yes, Man U was at the
so it's not. I mean, it's everybody should take the blame.
You're part of the team that led Man U down. And now you let the Man U down. You want to run away.
Exactly.
And even before, I'm even surprised that up to today that he's still dragging about this issue that he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave. Tell me, which club will he leave now? Romano should compare and say that he has played his play and he's due in the Champions League.
Exactly.
There's no club you go now that has the potential of winning Champions League.
Of course, exactly.
There's many club.
Because you can't go to Madrid,
you can't go to Bayern Munich, you can't go to Madrid, you can't go to PSG. So if you're talking of the potential Champions League winner now, you're talking of Bayern Munich, you're talking of Real Madrid, you're talking of Man City, you're talking of Liverpool, and
none of those clubs want you.
And PSG, none of those clubs want you. If Napoli want to go to Napoli, the highest the number. I'm not saying they are not good, but the highest Napoli can go. If Napoli get to the semi-final, if I thought they won't get to the quarter-final, it's a big achievement. So what are you talking? What are you thinking? So if I'm the coach of the Napoli, there's no need how I will swap.
Exactly.
Ronaldo, no matter that we even commented that he still play up to this level, that he still feel and still sorry. But Osimhen has a brighter future many days ahead of him than Osimhen may not be in the class of Ronaldo, but he has a bright future compared to Ronaldo. Ronaldo in the next 2 years will fizzle out. But we still have a long time ahead of him.
Completely, and I agree with you.
At the same time, Ronaldo is a player that if you come to Napoli, he definitely change the playing system.
The focus will be on him. Exactly. In fact, if he goes to Napoli, I'm sure I won't even be hearing of Osimhen anymore. Because now everything,
even other players in the Napoli.
That's what I'm saying. Because no, right now Osimhen is even their focal man up front. But once he comes there, because once you have the ball, everybody's looking for Ronaldo. So it becomes a challenge. So it's really, really a dicey situation for him. And even at United are not even keen on him staying because even in some few matches, even from preseason, the matches where he hasn't played, you see that the boys are even able to express
As far as I'm
themselves.
concerned, United have moved on from Ronaldo.
Oh, no, they have completely.
They have moved on
Because
from
the
Ronaldo.
season
So the
started,
shame is now on him.
He's been benched consistently. He's been coming from the bench in 80 something minutes. So that's to tell you that even the coach is telling you directly, look, you are not even part of my plans anymore in this team. So away from that now to some other EPL news where, of course, first casualty of this season's EPL, we spoke about it yesterday here. Scott Parker has been sacked as head coach of Bournemouth following that 9-0 thrashing by Liverpool over the weekend. Parker left Fulham and took charge of Bournemouth 40 months ago, actually guided them to promotion to the Premier League this season. But he's just been 4 games in charge in the new league. But I think after that humiliating loss, the club co-owner, I felt this was not good enough. And they asked him to go.
Well, absolutely. Even Arsenal are always patient with their coach. No coach will accept that patient where you play in the game in the Premier League. Sit down, go.
But this is Liverpool they played against.
Yes,
and this
Liverpool,
happens.
but yeah, it's happened. But for Liverpool to score 9 goals against, it shows that you don't have only half answer. When they go good for come on the week 9. I don't think they could. And more importantly, that even the previous match before then, we are not effective. So there's no management or anybody will take that excuse with you. It's just like say it's one of the first casualty of the game.
Yeah, exactly. More
casualty to football. I just like to make sure Gerrard yesterday also make sure the man at the
Lampard too is not sitting pretty also. Lampard Gerrard too is not
what we're talking about another that man in the Leicester.
Brendan Rodgers,
So they need to watch their back.
Yeah, exactly.
They have the next 2 games or 3 games to redeem their image.
Sure.
And for Lampard, well, I feel for him, his next 2 games are more games against
exactly.
So we have to be very, very careful.
All right, that's that. Anyway, to some EPL fixtures for the midweek fixtures, there will be some matches today and tomorrow. Of course, it will be Crystal Palace at home to Brentford, while Fulham will welcome Brighton and Hove. For Southampton, they'll hope to bounce back as they welcome Chelsea, while Leeds United will welcome Everton. Tough game for Everton, if you ask me, against Leeds United. Leeds United lost their game over the weekend and they'll be hoping to bounce back. Same for Southampton.
Chelsea, they are hope to continue for almost 60 minutes. And he has a lead net. Also get a say